Welcome back to the Historical Painting channel, where we together explore important historical events through the lens of art and research. Today, we will learn about the role of France's role in World War I, a nation that contributed and endured many sacrifices to protect its freedom and sovereignty. Let us delve into the key events, decisive campaigns, and the resilient spirit of the French people in this great war. At the beginning of the 20th century, the Second Industrial Revolution brought strong development to European countries, especially Germany, an emerging empire that challenged the existing balance of power. France and Germany, two large neighboring countries, after the Franco-Prussian War, were constantly in conflict and tension. When gunfire erupted in Sarajevo, France once again found itself facing a serious crisis. On July 20, 1914, just a few days after the Crown Prince of Austria-Hungary was assassinated, French President Raymond Poincaré urgently went to Russia to strengthen relations with the ally. He proposed that the assassination event be limited to Serbian territory to avoid spreading the conflict, and ordered the cancellation of all vacations for French officers and preparations for a possible war. On August 2, France issued a general mobilization order, attracting 3 million French people to enlist, and thousands of soldiers from the colonies were also dispatched to Europe. On August 7, 1914, France implemented Plan No. 17 with the goal of retaking Alsace-Lorraine and entering Berlin. In the early days, the French captured Mulhouse, but just a few days later, they were fiercely counterattacked by the Germans and forced to retreat. At Mulhouse, German troops carried out massacres against civilians, causing outrage and pain throughout France. On August 22, 1914, Germany's Schlieffen Plan was about to succeed, and 27,000 French soldiers died in the early days of the war. The French government was forced to flee Paris, however, their determination to protect their country has never wavered. On September 2, 1914, two French pilots discovered that the German army had changed direction, intending to surround the French army. This information helped Paris avoid disaster when the army quickly dispatched 6,000 soldiers by taxi to the Marne battlefield. On September 6, the commander-in-chief of the French army, Joseph Joffre, ordered all soldiers to move forward, holding on to the captured lands at all costs. After 3 days of fierce fighting, on September 9, the Anglo-French coalition won the Battle of the Marne, saving Paris and failing Germany's plan. Besides protecting the country, France also participates in other fronts around the globe. On October 5, 1914, France began attacking Germany's African colonies, and in October 1915, French troops arrived at Thessaloniki to open a new front in support of Serbia. On the European battlefield, French soldiers faced horrifying poison gas attacks. Initially, they used rudimentary measures such as using cotton and cloth soaked in urine to combat toxic gas, but later had to switch to using gas masks and goggles. On February 21, 1916, the Battle of Verdun began, becoming one of the fiercest and longest battles of World War I. The French army, under the command of General Philippe Pétain, was determined to hold Verdun at all costs. This battle became a symbol of French resilience and determination. Every day, hundreds of thousands of artillery shells were fired from both sides, turning Verdun into a giant slaughterhouse. To maintain troop numbers and fighting spirit, General Pétain organized an effective supply system, helping to bring food and weapons to the front lines. The Battle of Verdun lasted for nearly a year, causing millions of casualties, but in the end France succeeded in holding Verdun, forcing the German army to retreat. In 1917, France faced many difficulties both at home and abroad. In the interior, factories went on strike, the army mutinied, and many soldiers returned home only to find that they had been forgotten in everyday life. This tense situation has affected the fighting ability of the French army. However, on June 13, 1917, the arrival of the American Expeditionary Force, under the command of General John Pershing, brought a new vitality to the French army, helping them continue to fight against France. Against the German army. In 1918, with the active participation of the United States, the coalition organized a comprehensive counterattack against the German army. On August 8, 1918, the Allied Commander-in-Chief, General Ferdinand Foch, led a major attack involving more than 1,000,000 soldiers and 500 tanks, breaking through the German lines. These efforts led to the rapid weakening of the German army and finally, on November 11, 1918, at Compiègne Station, representatives of the German Provisional Government signed the armistice, officially ending the war. World War I. Germany admitted defeat and ceased all hostilities, ending a war that lasted 4 years. World War I had terrible consequences for France, with millions dead, wounded and missing. These losses were not only material but also mental, when an entire generation of French people had to face the hauntings of war. But from here, France has risen, becoming a symbol of resilience and indomitable will. Verdun, Paris and many other places still retain traces of the war, reminding us of the price of freedom and peace. If you find this video useful and interesting, don't forget to like, share with friends and subscribe to the Historical Painting channel to not miss the next videos. Thank you for watching, and see you in upcoming videos.